to be offering a mindful grief support group at Empathic Practice this fall. I have a slide for this. I did not cue you that I was going to start using slides. So if you've ever participated in one of our out-of-the-box story circles after the service once a month, I'm using that same methodology. It's just with a focus on grief. It is not specific to death, losses. All forms of grief are welcome. And so that, you probably can't read any of that. There's a flyer of that that's going to be out on the bulletin board after the service. If you want to find out more, if it would be a helpful space, we would love to have you join us. Our next... God, you can't see that at all. I'm sorry. Yes, so it is going to be several different Monday nights throughout the fall, starting in September in a few weeks. So we will... I'll get that flyer out there so it's legible. And also just feel free to grab me if you want to know more. Our next slide has some lovely photos from Mary Beth. This is from Mary Beth on behalf of the Fun and Fellowship team. She says, "A huge thank you to our amazing helpers, to everyone who lent a hand with the setup and breakdown of our church board game Potluck. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Whether you were setting up tables, prepping food, or staying late to clean up, your time and effort made the event run smoothly and feel truly special." Am I saying it like you? That wasn't the end, though. It was such a joy to see laughter around the game tables and fellowship over shared meals. None of it would have been possible without your generosity and teamwork. We are grateful for each of you and already looking forward to the next gathering. And thank you to Mary Beth for organizing that. Okay, next slide is one more visual announcement. Reminder that the FemFest Song Circle will be meeting again this Saturday, the 30th at 11:30 here at the church. There is not a specific concert or event that we're preparing for. That's just a chance for our feminist voices to join together in song to find some rest and renewal and build resilience for the work ahead, whatever that is for each of us. We're led by Juliana Child, who directed the choir last March for our International Women's Day service. So feel free to join us for that. And you will have to choose. I hate this. Also, this Saturday, changed from August 30th on Saturday to Monday, September 1st. You don't have to choose. The Workers Over Billionaires protest and rally in Seville Square is going to be Monday, September 1st from 9 to 12. And I think I saw this flyer out there. So, but feel free to come up and look at it if you need to. And I think that one has already happened. All right. Laura Keith King is probably the best contact for that. I know she is out sick today. So come find me if you need to or reach out to her. Flag me down if I'm leaving out your announcement. I think that was all of them. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, sorry. Yep, you're doing it. I asked you to do it, and then I asked you. Mary Beth, everyone. I'm kind of a mess this morning. I love doing this, and also there are so many pieces, and makes me so grateful for the people that do this regularly, leading the service. Yes. Please.
Next Sunday after the service, we're going to have a group of us, everybody that wants to be there, to discuss what do we do now in the face of what's happening nationally. What can we do to make a difference? And that will be right after the service. If you have been participating in gatherings where you took a sign and all that, bring your sign. Bring your sign.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I will say Paula has details about a gathering that is, say it one more time for me so I can repeat it in the mic. Just the next Sunday after the service? Right after the service, next Sunday. And what do we do next is sort of the theme for that. Thank you. Please see Paula if you have questions there. Thank you. I'm so glad you spoke up. All right. We will light our chalice this morning Laura is here to light it. And I'll read our quote from Lao Tzu. Life and death are one thread, the same line viewed from different sides. And now our band is going to lead us just in a few moments of some centering music. Get here and get grounded. I'll read our opening words for us this morning. We come together to remind ourselves not to turn away from death, but to meet it with open hearts. We come to listen for what dying can teach us about living and what grief can teach us about love. In the sacred circle, all our questions, all our doubts, all our longings have a home. May we find here not answers, but companions for the journey. And now if you would take your gray hymnal, this one, we're going to sing number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. The choir's going to come lead us. We're singing verses 1 and 3. And if you can stand, if you are willing and able, we'll sing together.
And we laugh, we cry, we live and we die.
If you'd remain standing, we'll say our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. You can be seated. Thank you. And this is the time now where we will share our joys and sorrows with one another. This time is not included in the online virtual viewing of the service. Sometimes that helps to know what you're saying is not going out over the entire internet. But it's a time to share with our community the things that are giving us joy in life and the things that are weighing heavily on us. I'll light the first candle. Laura's going to come light our candles. And we'll light the first one for all of the many needs that are out in the larger world. There are a lot of things that weigh heavily on us, and we could fill up the whole candle with them. But we light one for those. And then if you have something you want to share with us, please come line up on either side, and we would love to hear from you.
This is the time for all ages, and I'm really excited about it today. I'm going to share a book, and we have it up on the screen as well, called Death is Stupid. I regretted after the fact that this was not the logo for the service, right? Because to have a service on death and then put Death is Stupid there, you would have been like, what's going to happen? I love this book so much. And I'll just let it speak for itself. It's by Anastasia Higginbotham, written and illustrated. When a loved one dies, someone is saying, I know exactly how you feel. People can say some stupid things. Don't cry. Just be grateful for the time you had with her. Even the people who care about you most may not know what to say. We lost her, the child says. Then find her. We can't, honey, she's gone. Well, gone where? Is she ever coming back? Every life comes to an end. Someone is saying, she's in a better place. Dying is not a punishment. The child says, would I be in a better place if I died? Heavens, no. But it mostly doesn't feel fair. He says, death is not better. It's stupid. We just mean she's at peace. She can rest. And don't say stupid. Why can't she rest here with me and still be alive? And the child imagines. Here's your breakfast, Grandma. I'm going out to take care of your garden. If you need me for anything, just yell out the window. I'll come running. And Grandma says, oh, thank you for letting me rest, dear. Now I don't have to die. Right? Some people may try to help and make it worse, saying things like, now your grandma can watch over you wherever you are. And he's imagining stealing or sneaking some whipped cream.
Beliefs about what happens after death are personal to each of us. We all have our own ways of understanding and not understanding this mystery. Search your heart and other sources you trust to find out what you believe. But beware of the lies. Someone says, "She's only sleeping." Don't say that to me. Sleep is what I do, and I wake up every morning. My grandma isn't asleep. She died. Come on, honey, time to go home. It takes courage to go on living when the one you love has died. Someone is saying, "Beautiful day." And to accept that death cannot be changed. Everyone eventually has an experience of someone who died, a member of their family, a good friend, someone they thought would live a lot longer. We did everything we could. I'm sorry. Your pain is not less than theirs. It's not more. It's not the same. He says, "Can I play in my room now? Be sure to hang up that suit when you take it off." I will. You might be freaked out by the grief of those you depend on. He's thinking, "My dad cried at the funeral. Not the quiet kind of crying. It was the kind you can hear." Oh, coughing and loud crying. My mom says to talk to Grandma in my imagination. I know what I would say. "Grandma, you shouldn't have died. I still need you." "Oh, honey, I know. Death is so stupid." "Grandma, you said stupid." "Well, it is." If you have questions for the one who died, ask them in your imagination or write out loud. "Grandma, can you see me doing bad things from heaven?" Nothing about you is bad, child, and don't you ever forget it. There may come a reply in dreams or in signs, things like, "My spirit is safe," or "It's okay for you to have fun without me," or "I'm sorry for leaving you." Where did she go? He's asking. Why do we have to die? Grandma's garden is weedy, Dad. It sure is. She'd be so annoyed. She would. We don't get to keep everyone we love who has ever lived. Dad says, "Let's get you dressed." But we do get to remember them long after their lives have ended. Remembering lasts. The child says, "Grandma died, but her plants are alive." Dad says, "My mother fed and watered everything out here, including you and me." Keep your connections to those who have died and to those still living. "Dad, would you teach me to make the sauce she made in the boiling hot jars?" It would be an honor. These connections make death less scary or stupid, and they make life more fun. The end. We are going to sing our children out now to their CRE time.
You guys ready to sing again? Yeah. Go down in peace. Go down in joy. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere.
So, as you may or may not know, our church is fully member funded, and so we rely on our charitable donations to operate. And there are a lot of ways that we all give of ourselves here. This is one chance to give financially. And so our ushers are going to pass around baskets during the music to collect any offerings. We have a video we're going to listen to with a song by John Prine that was an important one from Trista. And you can give via the information on the screen or put money in the basket. A lot of people give in other ways, just whatever is meaningful to you. I apologize in advance. I couldn't find a video that had the lyrics, so we will listen and let John Prine's voice speak to us.
All the snow is turned to water. Christmas days have come and gone. Broken toys and faded colors are all that's left to linger on. I hate graveyards and old pawn shops, for they always bring me tears. I can't forgive the way they robbed me of my childhood souvenirs. Memories, they can't be bought, they can't be won at carnivals for free. Well, it took me years to get those souvenirs, and I don't know how they slipped away from me. Broken hearts and dirty windows made life difficult to say. That's why last night and this morning always look the same to me. And I hate reading no love letters, for they always bring me tears. I can't forgive the way they robbed me of my sweetheart's souvenirs. Memories, they can't be bought, they can't be won at carnivals for free. Well, it took me years to get those souvenirs, and I don't know how they slipped away from me.
delighted to get to introduce Laura Ericson to speak first today. And Laura is an INELDA, so that's INELDA, certified death doula, and as she describes it, a longtime good friend of UUCP. Here to talk about her relationship to the world of death and dying. Welcome, Laura.
Good morning. My name is Laura Ericson. My pronouns are she and her. And this is my first time on this side of the pulpit, so if I speak too quickly or too softly, if someone can wave at me, let me know. I have been a hospice volunteer since 1996, and I'm now a certified death doula. Many of you may be wondering, what is a death doula? Can I see a show of hands of how many have heard that term? Oh, good. Friendly audience, right? A death doula may also be called an end-of-life doula, a death midwife, a death care advocate, a soul midwife, or a death coach. I'll use death doula here, although professionally I tend to gravitate towards end-of-life doula, but that's a footnote for another time. Maybe, Nancy. Just like a birth doula or midwife, a death doula accompanies a person in conjunction with a life transition that we all experience, death. Unlike the beginning of life, which is typically a joyful time, the end of life can be fraught with pain, confusion, fear, anxiety, loneliness, and, of course, grief. Many people are uncomfortable with death, just like in the book. There can be unpleasant sights, sounds, and smells. And death is often seen as something to be avoided, hidden, and not talked about. Death doulas, therefore, will often fill in where others cannot or will not. And there are probably as many ways to serve as a death doula as there are doulas, really. People are drawn to serve in different ways depending on their skills, interests, and even the laws of the state they live in. And when I say serve, there are some people who do earn a living solely as death doulas, but the majority do not. Some of the things death doulas might focus on includes legacy work, medical aid in dying, assistance with end-of-life planning and preparation, after-death care, rituals, and grief work. So legacy work, for instance, if you think about what kind of legacy do I want to leave? It can be gifts to others, it can be preparation of letters or albums for family members, or even just distribution of assets if you want to leave that kind of legacy. Medical aid in dying is a real complicated one and not something we deal with here in Florida. That's only legal in 10 or 11 states in the District of Columbia. And each state has different requirements, so there's a lot of pre-planning needed. It's not an easy process. After death care or pre-death care, thinking about how do you want your dying process to look like? And not many of us have the luxury of being able to plan that, but you might talk about things like who you want with you, what kind of smells and sounds you want in the room, what kind of, if you want different people there or not. You would be surprised how many people want no one with them. So many doulas in providing these services also have another role, but when they're serving as death doulas, they ethically have to limit themselves to stay within the doula role. So what do I do? Since 1996, I've been a patient care volunteer with hospice. My patients have been in all kinds of places: private homes, assisted living facilities, nursing homes, and dedicated hospice units. I say what I do is probably best summed up by what my wife says to me every Thursday when I leave the house for my shift at Sacred Heart: go do some good. And what that looks like varies greatly. A lot of times it starts with cookies for the night shift nurses. Make the staff happy, that helps make the patients happy. There may be some common threads. But what people want and need at the end of life isn't always predictable. I've never gone into any assignment under the illusion that the outcome is going to be anything but death. Once patients have been admitted to hospice, it's about the quality of life, not the quantity. I've always said if I'm able to enhance the quality of life by providing comfort in any way, I've done my job. A big part of this is dealing with grief. People often think of grief as something that happens after death. That could not be further from the truth. Grief is not reserved for only after death, and it's not reserved for the survivors. And there are many losses along the way. In the case of a lengthy illness, for instance, loved ones grieve the loss of the person that they once knew as they interact with the person that they've become. They may grieve the loss of relationships that can no longer be healed, or relationships that will no longer have the opportunity to grow. They will grieve the loss of their lives as they knew them, with their spouse or parent, child or friend. And then there's a lot of anticipatory grief about what's going to happen when the loved one dies. The dying person also experiences grief. They may grieve the loss of their health, their identity as an active, healthy person, and their independence when they're no longer able to care for their basic needs. That's something that's really hard for a lot of people to let go of. They may grieve because of future milestones that they'll miss out on. Graduations, weddings. They may grieve due to regrets about things they did not do when they had the chance, or they may grieve about things they did for which they'll never be able to make amends. Conversely, one of the saddest things I've encountered is people who repeatedly ask me, why am I still here? Because they are ready to go. And I've had this happen a number of times. One patient in particular I worked with, she was in a memory care facility, and I had her for 18 months. She felt she had done all the work, she had all the closure she needed, and she was ready to go, but yet she lingered on. And she was at a higher cognitive level than the other residents, and I believe that that surely contributed to her distress and her grief. You can't fix grief, but you can make a difference. Be brave. Don't shy away from difficult or emotional conversations. Be present. Listen. Ask questions. Allow people to share and reserve judgment. Recognize that grief and what they're experiencing is part of who they are, but it's not all. Grief is simply part of nearly everyone's human experience. So be human. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I'm going to be speaking next, but I speak best through music. We're going to start with some music, Mary Beth, and the musicians are going to come help us. And I'll introduce myself a little more after that. Ain't that your jacket in the mudroom? Faster. Ain't those your shoes there by the door? You never left the house without them. Now you don't need them anymore. Ain't those your keys there on the table? They've gone everywhere you go. They've opened every door you walked through, turned every engine on your road. have gone far, and now you're further than you've ever been from me, than you've ever been from me. And like a song, I can't see you, but you move me just the same. And like the radio waves all through the air, you invisibly make it okay. And like the moon, I can't touch you, but you pull me just the same. And like the crashing of waves all through the ocean, I rise and I fall in your name, all in your name. They say at first the pain is piercing, an angry bee inside your chest, but it can't sting like that forever. And even heartbreak takes a rest. They say just like a sword in battle, a sharpened blade will slowly dull. With every thought inside my mind that you possess, it'll hurt a little less. And like a song, I can't see you, but you move me just the same. And like the radio waves all through the air, you invisibly make it okay. And like the moon, I can't touch you, but you pull me just the same. And like the crashing of waves all through the ocean, I rise and I fall in your name, all in your name. Like a song, I can't see you, but you move me just the same. And like the radio waves all through the air, you invisibly make it okay. And like the moon, I can't touch you, but you pull me just the same. And like the crashing of waves all through the ocean, I rise and I fall in your name, all 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 in your name. That song was by Heather Maloney. It's called All in Your Name. Thank you. So I am here, my name's Clair. I think I shared that obviously earlier, but I'm a bereavement coordinator with hospice and have worked in a chaplain role in hospice before that. And so just here to speak about my experience in connection with death and dying and where they inevitably lead us, which is into grief. And so I want to tell some of my story and how it interacts with grief. So I do a lot of reaching out to the families after the death of their loved one to offer support and to help them get connected to whatever resources are going to be helpful to them during that time. And then I also facilitate some regular grief support groups in different contexts in the community for both children and adults. And although, so grief is just a regular part of my life. I've dealt with my own share of grief. That has included the deaths of some family members, aunts, uncles, grandparents. But when I think of the grief that has loomed largest in my life on a day-to-day level, it isn't the death of someone else that I loved, because grief is mysterious, and sometimes there are things that weigh heavier that we didn't expect. Loss happens on so many levels. And so what I felt compelled to talk about today is the death of the person that I had always thought I would be. That grief that I have felt and that I draw on in my work is the death of the version of myself that used the title pastor, the death of the relationship I had always expected to have with my family of origin, and it was the death of God, or the God that I had always cultivated a deep and intimate relationship with, intimacy with. It was all of those losses that led me out of church work. This is in a version of me before I came here and found you all and this role, but it was what led me into chaplaincy and hospice, and ultimately into bereavement, where I've been for a year now and find myself so at home. And although a lot of the skills that served me well in ministry have served me well also in grief support, I also realized very quickly that I had a lot to learn about how grief works, about what's actually helpful to people who are in the throes of it. And so what I want to do is share some of those things that I've learned by looking back through the lyrics of this song, because it just captures so many different aspects of grief so beautifully. I won't go through all the lyrics, but this first section, and I'll read them again because I love them so much. Ain't those your keys there on the table? Ain't those your shoes there by the door? You never left the house without them, and now you don't need them anymore. I'd run those keys out to the driveway and joke that you wouldn't have gone far, and now you're further than you've ever been from me. Than you've ever been from me. What I notice here is the way that grief is woven into every moment of the day, just the dailiness of it, which is why grief is also so exhausting. Mary Frances O'Connor is a neuroscientist who writes about the effects of grief on the brain. And she compared it to a toddler who spends all day at preschool absorbing entirely new experiences. Their brains are on all the time. They're navigating an unfamiliar world. And so, of course, when they get home, we fully expect them to crash. They need nothing in the world more than a snack and a nap. And our brains in grief are exactly the same, because we are learning how to live life after loss. And that also means that there is hope, because our brains are prediction-making machines, and in time, the brain learns to catch up to the reality around us that life has changed, especially if we can treat ourselves with the same care that we would give to a young child. The next slide has some more lyrics. Ooh, that chorus. Like a song, I can't see you, but you move me just the same. Like the radio waves all through the air, you invisibly make it okay. Like the moon, I can't touch you, but you pull me just the same. And like the crashing of waves all through the ocean, I rise and I fall in your name, all in your name. So the heart of that song is one of the most profound concepts I've encountered learning about all of the different models and theories of grief and how it works. And it's this idea of continuing bonds. Continuing bonds. It's the reality that in grief, we have this incredibly difficult but so, so meaningful task of figuring out what the relationship looks like now. Because just because someone has died or things in your world have changed, it doesn't mean that we don't still relate to the person or the reality that we've lost. And so how do we continue the bond in a new way, a way that looks different than it did before? All right, in the next slide. They say at first the pain is piercing, an angry bee inside your chest, but it can't sting like that forever, and even heartbreak takes a rest. They say just like a sword in battle, the sharpest blade will slowly dull, and with every thought inside my mind that you possess, it'll hurt a little less. That line, even heartbreak takes a rest, stands out as so important to me. It's something that I hear from people every day. One of the predominant models of how grief works is called the dual process model. D-U-A-L, not, although sometimes they feel like they're at odds. But it's the idea that after a loss, we don't, and truly we couldn't, just focus on our grief all the time, right? We oscillate back and forth between disorientation and reorientation. The disorientation of feeling the pain, embracing it, even dwelling in it on the one hand, and then the work of reorienting to the new reality and beginning to imagine a path forward, and maybe here and there finding moments of joy and connection and hope on the other hand. And we take the intensity of the pain in small doses, because we couldn't possibly feel the full weight of it all the time. And it's okay that we don't. And then this last slide, just the repetition, all in your name, all in your name, all in your name. The last element I want to point out about this beautiful song is the repetition over and over again throughout the song. And what that repetition says to me is that when we allow ourselves to really reckon with the depths of the grief that we feel, to embrace it as simply what is, which sometimes takes repeating and repeating and repeating, it ultimately helps us to build resilience to face whatever comes next. And I love that the song isn't this depressing song. We did sing it a little slow and emotional, but if you go listen to Heather Maloney, she's like jamming on her guitar because it communicates to me that her grief is also motivated, right? It's has movement, it feels like growth. Because while grief is one of the most stressful and overwhelming experiences a person can go through, physically, psychologically, spiritually, it is also often the catalyst for some of the most beautiful growth and change that we'll ever experience. So, thank you. And because I couldn't stop myself from doing everything this morning, I'm going to transition us myself to our closing song, and I'm going to say a minute about it first. The song we're going to sing to usher us out is, it's by Peter Mayer, and he, if you are familiar with the hymnal, he wrote Blue Boat Home, so that name might be familiar. It's one of our songs that we sing here often. But this is a song called Sacred Song, and my hope was that as we have spent time dwelling in and opening ourselves to the reality and the pain of death and loss and grief, that as we transition out, we can move into the space of what now? You know, how do I live now, today, in the face of the grief and loss that I've known? And so I feel like this song gives us some movement in that direction. Mike is going to teach us the chorus. It is new to all of us, and we're going to have grace for ourselves and each other.
So Claire, should we go to the slide that has the chorus on it for learning that? this mic, yeah, not like the right one.
Yeah, yes,
Where you
just-
want before, was perfect.
Okay. One. Is that what you're saying? Oh. Y'all want to stand up and join us for this? Life's not a note long. Life is a whole song that played long before me and will after I'm gone. Life is no match flame. Life is a great blaze of fire animating you and me. So while I live my life, I'll carry that torchlight and hold it way up high through every dark night. I will take my turn, keeping that flame burning, seeing it delivered to the next in line. This is my true joy, to use my one voice with all of life joy in the secret song. With every step, sing whenever I can bring another along. And from that firelight, I'll take a bright spark to give a passerby with a hopeless heart. A bright spark for courage, for love and for service, to kindle a purpose that the heart can find. This is my true joy, to use my one voice with all of life joy in that sacred song. With every step, sing whenever I can bring another along. Do it after the center lift. Keep on, keep on. It's like the chorus, chorus. And by the time I'm done, I want to be used up, just a vibration in that sacred song. And see that I lived and gave what I could give, keeping it strong. I want to live life like it's a torchlight and hold it way up high through every dark night. I want to take my turn, keeping that flame burning, seeing it delivered to the next in line, and seeing it delivered to the next in line, seeing it delivered to the next in line. So our closing words for today are a quote from George Bernard Shaw that Peter Mayer was drawing on for those lyrics. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch, which I've got hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. Thank you, and go in peace. Oh my goodness. We are going to stick around in the library for second hour if anybody wants to pick Laura's brain. I know I do. So we'll be in the library for the next half hour or so.
Thank you.